All right, what's up, everybody? This is Jose Trujillo, world's greatest living artist. Thank you for being part of this. Let's move this over there. There you go. That way the tripod is not fighting with me, and I'm not fighting with the tripod. I'm gonna show you guys. I want to give you guys as much value as possible in a single video. Okay, so guys, bear with me. This is a big piece of paper. I know it looks small there, but it's pretty big. It's probably about 4 feet high, by 3 by 4 feet, something like that. So it's a fairly big piece of paper. This is the papers that I use to create my sketches, my drawings, and my studies. And every now and then I also like to use this larger format paper to do some works on paper. The paper is fairly thin, so it's not too thick. Nas Art says the gallery was very rude to me today. It really put me down. You know what? Fuck them. They're missing out. They're missing out. Don't let those guys put you down. Don't let that. Go get yourself a latte. Gain some strength. Compose yourself. Is that how you say compose yourself? Watch something funny. Stay here for this video. and don't worry about them. That's how they act, because they're sitting on a high horse. Many of them, not all of them, but many of them. So they're standing in a power position. Don't give them the satisfaction of making you feel bad. Absolutely. So here we go. I'm gonna share with you guys how I keep loose. Okay. The biggest thing to know about staying loose when you're creating artwork is to you guys have heard me say it so many times. Don't place judgment. Don't place judgment. Don't place judgment on your paintings. But here's the reason why. Try not to use reference if you're practicing staying loose. If you use reference, it actually tightens you because you're trying to capture the reference. You're trying to capture the reference. So even if you don't do a great job, right, whatever that means, don't use references to practice. So I buy this big paper to do that. It keeps me a little bit sharp. So for example, I have no reference, right? And I'm gonna make a little horsey, right? And it doesn't matter because I'm not trying to mimic anything, I'm not trying to mimic anything. I'm trying to do me, right? And so this is something that helps me stay loose. This is what I do to stay loose. It's just an idea of what a horse would look like, right? In my mind. It's just an idea. And so this is what I tell artists to practice. Practice staying loose by doodling. Like doodle. Doodle. It's the single best thing you can do. It's the single best thing you can do. Maybe there's a person up here, I don't know. There's probably a person up here. And keep your brush very, very, very wet. There's lots of water in the brush. There's lots of medium, whatever you're using, right? And maybe there's a landscape somewhere in here. Who knows? Maybe there's an angel flying back here, right? But the whole point of staying loose is so that you don't get stuck on all the details, and it helps you. Maybe there's another one back here, right? Popping through there. Maybe this is a neo-expressionist Renaissance type of deal. Anyways, this is the way that I approach staying loose, guys. This is the way that I approach staying loose. It is very easy. It is very easy to start going. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. That'll start tightening you back up again. And now, don't get me wrong. When you're working, I get it. We do that, right? But I'm talking about practice here. I'm not talking about when you're. This is why it's so important to practice on paper that you don't you don't care, right? A paper that you don't care, a paper that you can do this to, and you can start all over again, and you can be like, you know what? I'm gonna paint someone here. And then this person has a buddy right here. Maybe there's 3 of them. Who knows? Maybe they're like the 3 amigos. Amigos. And so this allows me to stay loose. The brush has to be filled, or keep the paint with you. That way you're not constantly trying to every time that you go and get paint or whatever, you're thinking about it. So part of being loose is to suspend what you're thinking. Okay, being loose is to suspend what you're thinking. You're suspending it. You're not really thinking. You're acting on just impulse. You're acting on your motor skills, and it doesn't matter what they are. They could be great. They could be poor. It don't matter. Don't worry about it. I learned this by watching a lot of the what do they call them? The sketches that Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci did, and Eugene Delacroix. If you see their sketches, they're super loose, guys. They're super loose. There's a reason. I believe that there's a reason why. The way that these cats painted was very loose, and they tightened it when they went to create a work of art. But the way that they make their studies was extremely loose. Their drawings was loose. I believe that these cats would have been the modern day expressionists had they lived in this time, but because they lived in a time where you had to show some level of reality, right, representational work, then they had to tighten it back to conform to society's agreement, right, that people weren't ready for very abstract work. But if you see, especially Delacroix's lions, horses, you see that there's a looseness, that it's very expressionist. For the 1800s, I mean, it's extremely expressionist. And so I believe that the reason why they did it again is because they were really very open. They were very open artists, right? They were very loose, and that kept them moving. If you tighten so much, it kind of stops you from moving, right? It kind of stops you. And so I'm talking about loose painters. I'm not talking about every single painter. Of course, there's different styles and different ways of painting, but I'm talking about loose painters here. Painters with a loose brush. Okay, so I hope that this brought a little bit of value to you guys. Let me wave at some people here. Take care, guys. My name is Jose Trujillo. References are important. But when you're practicing, try not to use them, especially when you're doing formats like this, or you're try to get a piece of paper. You don't have to get something big, a piece of paper, a pen, and start doodling away. What would a horse look like? What would an alligator look like? What would it, not from a reference, from your mind, just from your mind, because it activates something else in your brain that allows you to be extremely creative, because your back is against the wall. You have nothing to look at. And so it activates something else. It activates actually your highest level of creativity. So there it is, guys. My idea of this little short videos is to get you guys pumped up and get you guys started and doing something slightly different than what you normally do if you haven't done this. All right, take care, guys. Talk to you soon. Adios.